Yeah. So I'm happy. I think the fifth dimension is really set, really rooting in now. I can see it. I'm experiencing it. Uh, I'm not experiencing a lot of negativity or darkness in the world. I know what's going on, in the world, but it's to me it doesn't feel dark. I don't buy into that. I don't go
There's
there.
more light coming in right now,
Yes,
more
exactly.
than it
I
has for
don't.
a very long time.
Well, Laura, if you've got a positive mind and if you're looking for light, then you'll see opportunities and you'll see light wherever you go and everything. But if you've got a negative mind and you're worrying about war and whatever, then you're going to experience the full whack of that. So
Call that the glass half full mentality, So you got
yeah.
to see that there's still hope, there's still opportunity,
Hmm.
all kinds of wonderful things happening in the world. And as people say, sometimes you got to look more for the helpers than the victims.
That's right. That's right. Uh-huh. And I think, it's about practice and experience of recomposing and coming back in and finding your flow of grace again. So I think once you've got practice doing that, it's wee buns.
Yeah.
As we say over here, it's wee buns. So it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You know.
So I've had quite a lot of new followers hanging out with me over the last couple months since I've seen you, and just to give them a little bit of a background as to who
Oh,
you are, if you don't
oh, good
mind.
idea. No, go on ahead. Good idea.
Athena, for example, says she loves your accent. It feels magical.
I've been on TikTok. I didn't leave Facebook altogether because I've just way too many friends there and connections that are very dear. But I've really moved into TikTok. I've learned how to use it very quickly, and with the help of GPT, has helped me to understand. And yeah, I've found a lot of new friends, a hell of a lot of followers. I think it's something like nearly 5,000, but a lot of them have become actual friends, and
Nice how that works,
it's
huh?
it's it's absolutely wonderful.
It's
It's
like finding your
wonderful.
tribe, so to speak.
It is. It's like finding your tribe all over again. I go back to Facebook, and the people on Facebook, they've all shifted as well. All those connections on Facebook have all shifted. And I think it's very bright. Where I'm sitting right now, it's very bright. So yes, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Eliza White Buffalo, and I think I've spoken to Lara about this. Might be the fourth time, Lara,
Something like that.
four or five. I'm a shaman. I'm a channel. My main spirit guide, who's been with me since I was a baby, really all my life, um, is Nicholas Black Elk, who was a Lakota holy man, a person who actually lived. So his spirit is there in the spirit world. He's my twin flame, and we work together. We've been working together since I was a child. When I was a child, it was extremely difficult for me. So all of our work was about what this world is all about, who I am, how to overcome difficulties and all of that sort of stuff. But then when I was 9 years old, I was shown Black Elk's great vision. Black Elk was 9 years old when he had a great vision. I think it was 1871, something like that, 1873. And he was shown over 2 days, or what he thought was 2 days, but it was actually 12 days. He was in a coma and he was having a near death experience. So in those 2 days, he was shown a vision of these times, of the world waking up, of everybody coming under the shelter of one big flowering tree that was our mother and our father. And oh my goodness, the vision needs to be You would need to read it to experience it for yourself and to really value it for yourself.
So this
So
is
there
the
is
book Black Elk Speaks that you guys are
that's
interested
right,
in.
Laura. There is a book, Black Elk Speaks, that contains that vision and an awful lot else that Black Elk wanted to say at that time. So when I was
It's
9,
funny that if you think
he
about it,
showed
maybe
me
he
the
was
vision.
seeing you if he was seeing modern times. Maybe you have the roles swapped.
Well, he did. He did see me. Oh my goodness! There was one time. Do you know the way? I wonder does any of you understand when I talk about screen memories? It's like memories you have of your childhood or whatever, and they never happened. They never happened, but they're as real as other memories. And what they are is they're screen memories. There's something that is like a screen that prevents you from seeing the real memory until you're ready. And I used to have this memory of looking at myself on a bed, and the me on the bed would turn around to me and say, "You've welcome back, my child. You've been gone a long time." So what that actually was as I got older, and especially in my later years, in my late 30s and 40s and 50s, Black Elk would have talked about that a lot. And actually what that was a part of his lifetime when he was sick on the bed after his 12-day coma. And he had just woke up from the 12-day coma. And he looked across at the open TP, and it was like a grandfather came in with a child to him. But it was him as he was an old man, with me as a child. And the old man said to the little boy on the bed, "Welcome back, my child. You've been gone a long time."
Wow.
So to him, he sees that that was a part of his great vision, because in his great vision, there were 6 grandfathers in a teepee, 6 very old men in a teepee, and they represented the powers of north, east, south, west,
Yeah.
the power of the earth and the power of the sky. And the power of the sky was a very, very old grandfather. Oh, sorry, the power of the earth was a very, very old grandfather. And it was him as he saw himself walking into the teepee, and it was him as he could see himself as old as he would be. And I think he was 83 years old when he died, so as old as that. And he called this part of himself Tunkashila. The Native Americans or the Lakota called God, what we might call God or source or whatever, or creator, Tunkashila. And Tunkashila, of course, is in us all. It's a part of us all. The divine parents, the divine grandparents are all part of us. So he was seeing a part of himself from the future with another lifetime that he would lead, which was me as a child, coming into the TP. And I was having this screen memory of it as an adult, was having this memory of my child, and this was what was screening it, you know. So, but he recognized me not only then before I was born, he recognized me many times before I was born. In his great vision, he recognized 4 lifetimes that he would lead, including his own. And the last one was mine. And he was walking up 4 hills, 4 ascents, and he stopped at each one and he'd look over to the next, and it would get steeper and steeper and steeper that he had to walk. And really, this is about him climbing up and shifting and raising up his spiritual, energetic, physical, emotional body. You know, it was all about lifting up the 4 quarters of himself, really, mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And but it was also true on so many levels. And on the level of lifetimes, he was on the 3rd pinnacle of the 3rd ascent, and he looked across and he saw the 4th, which was my lifetime, and it was terrible. He knew it was terrible. And he knew that everything would come crashing down, and he knew that the flowering tree that he saw in his vision would finally blossom, but that it would be extremely difficult. I mean, guess who got the job of that? Goody, me. But sure, it's only a story. So he recognized me in that. But then in 1978, I was 13 years old, and I was going through the toughest time of my life. And I was going through what Black Elk had warned me would be a kind of like a separation between him and myself, that I would think he was gone from my life, but that he wouldn't really be gone. And the reason for this would be that I would be in such a dark place that I just could not feel him or see him at all.
Yeah.
So that's what was happening in 1978. At the same time in Missouri, the man that wrote the book Black Elk Speaks, his daughter was a medium, Alice, and she was one of those mediums, you know, that you put your hands on the table and the table rises up into the air and floats out through the door. You know, so she was this kind of table medium, and she also used the red ray, you know, the red lights. And she used to bring her father's spirit and her mother and Black Elk's spirit and a whole lot of other spirits through her voice. And she would speak with Black Elk's voice and whatever. So he came through and he said that he wanted her to write a book of everything that he was telling her. And then he said that there would be more books in the future, and it would be through a white woman. And he told her it was me, because when her granddaughter got in touch with me about 20 years ago, and we were typing away together every day, and she told her mother about me, and her mother said, her grandmother about me, and her grandmother said, yes, that's who Black Elk was talking about. And that's her. So we're twin flames, and we've recognized each other throughout our lifetimes, you know, the other lifetimes as well, you know, that Black Elk saw as part of the ascension journey. I've written about those. This in our book, The Four Ascents. You know, I talked about the four hills. So the four ascents. But I've got 4 books, and I've also got a load of ebooks for free for you. So this is our first, and The Four Ascents is our second. And then we've got this wonderful book, The Childhood Diaries. And this book was so joyful to write because it took me right back to my childhood, and Black Elk was there and telling me all these things, teaching me all these things about the spirit world, about this, about who I was, who he was, what we are, what a soul is, you know, what ascension is, all of these things that everybody really wants to know now. We want to know, you know, we have
ready
this
for that information now. I don't know if we were ready before, but
well, I think we've been finding it and remembering it this past 30 years or more. Certainly for me, for about 25 years now, I've been remembering, because remember, I had forgotten him, couldn't see him, couldn't feel him. So when I was 36, I had a near-death experience and I died. And after that, it was like, whoa, here he comes. Hello, my old friend, you know. So the third book is brilliant, and then this came along. And this is what everybody wants to know, Lara. This is, what's a soul group? What happens after you die? How do they work with us? How can we be all that we can be? You know, what is time? Can we actually change time? How do we transform the world? How do we actually transubstantiate this world? You know? So all those things that everybody wants to know now is in that book. And I wrote that book within 6 days. 6 days. Black Elk told me, look at the wee cottage. Look at the lovely wee cottage.
Oh,
now, the cottage is significant because when I had that experience when I was 13, and I'll tell you what it is. I was in that cottage, okay? And the cottage features in all the books. The cottage is also significant because at that time, 2000 and maybe 6 or 7 or 8, I'm not sure now when I wrote that book. Black Elk said to me, I want you to rent a little cottage by the sea, and I want you to take it for a week, and I want you to write. Just type out everything I'm saying to you. So that's what I did, and I started on the first day, and the first words came, and 6 days later, after constant hours and hours and hours of channeling every day, I was as high as a kite, but the book was written. I went for a walk down by the seashore, and this wee man, he was lovely wee man, and he had a cottage that was beside the cottage that I was staying in. And he had seen me arriving, but hadn't seen me coming and going, you see. And he stopped the car and he said to me, would you like a lift back to the cottage? And, you know, this is the first time I had spoken in a week.
Yeah.
And my voice was as high as a kite because I was so high. You know, they have to hold me in this real high place to get everything through so clearly. And he thought I was afraid of him. I went like this. You're all right, love. It's okay. I'm not going to harm you. So what could I do? I couldn't exactly tell him. Oh, by the way, for the last 6 days, I've been in the 12th dimension channel in the book for light workers. You know? It was so funny. But yeah, so now you have a really good idea of who I am and who a Black Elk is. And our work continues. He's begun to speak through me, Lara, with his own version. It's a version of a light language that he takes from the thunder beings, but it's also a little bit mullied with his own language, because you can hear his own language through it, but it's not fully clearly his own language. So it's kind of, you know, a work in process.
Like light language as well.
It is like light language, and it comes through like light language, and I'm calling it light language because it's not Lakota. But I believe there are threads of Lakota coming through it. I think it's probably a work in process. So if I begin to speak like that, it's because Black Elk wants to give a message. He wants to say something. Yeah. So shall we begin with that? Because
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Is that okay?
You know I love Black Elk, and I'm happy
to see what he wants to say for these people. He He hanakataya sika nirtala. He nakawasiti hinala. He nakala de tisi hinala wa tikanalete. He hanokitia sekineke tone ata. He nakala siti anakoti. He nol hakahina hanetkasti hatola. He nakala kistikini hata. Hi anna kesi halakati hi hadrati anna kati na katosi halakati hi anna koti se na late nina kone te atalata hi chalala wai hatate hi chana hoi alakola hi chana hole kola. Hello, my friend. Hello, friend. Hello, friends. It is wonderful. It feels so good to be talking to such beautiful, bright hearts, beautiful, bright, and open hearts. And the world is so pleasurable now. The world is so light. Maybe you don't see that from where I am. The world is incredibly bright. The light shines through the cosmos. The light shines through my heart and through my soul, through our lives and through all that we stand for as two beings in one. Two beings in one are twin souls, twin beings of the one soul. And this does not mean that there is only two parts of the one soul in the world today and throughout history. This means there are two equal and opposite energies of the same soul in the world today. And that energy is everywhere. Everywhere, dear friends. It is everywhere. So when you look into the world, seek the twin flame. Seek the perfect mirror of yourself, of your beauty, of your beautiful light. And you will find that not only in a person, but in many persons, in nature, and in many different avenues of life. Even in such things as abundance, as occupation, as geography, where you are occupied in the world and what you are occupied in doing in the world, you will find the perfect mirror of your light if you seek the twin flame. But do not seek the twin flame as one being that will come and change your life. Seek it everywhere, and the one being will come. So thank you to Black Elk for that. That's a lovely message. I know that that's something, Lara, that he was always very particular that I understood of just who is he as twin flame. Because of course I used to have all sorts of romantic ideas.
I mean, people have so many different words for it these days. The twin flame thing, I don't usually use that word because I feel like it's overused a little bit.
It gets misunderstood.
I prefer to know it as divine union.
Divine union.
You can call it whatever, anybody can call it whatever you want. And I think that we have that union between all of us. We are source. Everybody is source, right?
The divine union of we are one. That is the title of my second retreat into the dimensional energies. Yeah. The divine union of we are one. The first is your geographical positioning. And the second is the divine union of we are one. And it is exactly as you described. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Not so much the term, the twin flame, but more like Black Elk said.
Well, yeah, exactly. You described it very well.
The mirror of your light. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and what have you been doing, Lara, this last while?
Chasing lizards.
That's what you do. That's what you do. I haven't seen a lizard in so long. I mean,
they're out there.
And I'm sure everybody that follows you knows what a lizard is by now. I used to, like, every time I would do energy work or whatever, I'd come across a lizard, I'd come across, narcissistic energy and all sorts of dark shit, and black magic. Ooh, And I can deal with that shit. I can. That shit is afraid to come near me now, and that's why I never see it any longer.
Well, the funny thing is too, like yesterday I was working and I felt like this weird feeling in my body and I didn't really know what it was. And at first it almost felt like a tension.
Uh-huh.
And I expanded my perimeter. Like it wasn't in my house and I expanded, and boom, found a lizard on the neighbor. And I was like,
Oh,
he's setting up game
yeah.
for you. And I cleared the neighbor.
Oh goodness! I just
And I
visualized it there.
it's just something about the energies lately. Like I feel like my sensitivity is growing in a way. Like normally I would have
Yes.
only been able to sense it if it was in my house, but I sensed it even like 100 yards out, and that was impressive even for me. I was like,
I say that your bullshit filter is stronger now. You know,
it is.
I mean, as soon as they come into your field of experience at all, you're on them. You are on them.
They
It's
have
like,
such a unique
whoa, I
feeling, and
see
you're
you.
so sensitive to it. And your body, it's funny because my body noticed before I did. Before I knew what I was feeling, I had to be like,
I heard somebody else say that recently. Yeah.
I think
But
our
yes,
gifts are
I heard
growing.
that your body actually felt it before
It created like a
you
tension,
could actually see
like
or
a
hear it.
tightness in my body.
Hmm.
And I was
Hmm.
wondering why. My body
Yeah.
was seizing up a little bit. I'm like, why do I feel tense? Like I don't
And
feel
this is
tense
beyond what people talk about empaths. You know, an empath, I mean, you're an empath, I'm an empath, but it's a long time since I soaked up energy because I just don't allow it.
I'm
I'm always
bubbled up all the
composed in
time.
my own space.
Yeah, I'm so well
But,
protected. I don't feel
but
it.
this is a different level of being an empath. This is where your bullshit filter is strong. Your gatekeeper is on point, and
Really
your body will warn you as soon as anything wants to come across you at once. I do remember one time coming back from a spiritual event in which there was a lizard there, and I came home and I was meditating, and I thought about the event and I thought about the people, and I could feel this energy just going like this. And I knew it was kind of like a dark spell. You know, I don't like using this kind of language.
Well,
I'm
it
not
is
into
though.
that
We
type
find
of
dark
thing.
magic on stuff all the
But it felt like a dark spell, as if someone was trying to manipulate me from far away, and I just no.
Well, sometimes they use humans to do that too, you know. They connect to a human and then they use the human as the puppet to attack rather than
I
attacking
know,
themselves.
and they usually use a very intelligent human and a human with a lot of light in their soul that maybe just their heart's not open yet, and they're in their shadow self, so it tones in and that just goes gets the grips in. You know, did you ever see the video of Neo from the Matrix, and he's dodging the bullets?
I watched The Matrix last week. Yes, I have it fresh in my memory. Yes.
That's
Love
me. That's me dodging the bullets.
Now, see, dodging is a bit meh, but he still got shot, so I prefer to just stop
Oh
bullets
yeah,
entirely and just be like, you know what?
yeah.
No, enough. I'm not playing your game. You're done.
Black Elk says you're like a white buffalo. You know, not just me, but everybody. You're like a white buffalo standing on all four strengths. You know, mind, body, spirit, and emotion. So when you're standing on all four and balanced like that, you're like a white buffalo, and the arrows may pierce your skin, but they will never pierce your heart. And it's like all of that stuff will be like wind that just moves right through you and is completely transmutated into light, transformed into light the moment it hits your energy field.
That's beautiful.
And that's available. That is available to everybody. It's not something that you have to, hope for in the future, or say to yourself, when I'm healed, this will happen. When I'm healed, I'll be able to do this, because then it's always in the future and you're never healed if you put it into the future. So Change your language from I need healed to I changed my mind. I'm having a change of mind. Actually, no, I am good enough. Actually, no, I am well. Actually, yes, I am the light of the world right here and now. I don't need to do anything to attain that, to achieve that. I
You're
am
doing
that right here and now, and all I need to do is just own it. Own it. And if you don't feel it, then fake it till you make it. Say the words, go through the motions until you begin to feel it. But be positive. Own it. Because it's true.
Lots of people are loving this chat already today. I just saw
Oh,
Jody's comment. Love you too, Jody. Jody says, I loved hearing your story, Eliza. I was 16 when you were 13 in 1978. I'm a late
hello.
bloomer. I like to reword it and tell myself I am enjoying my awakening and trust the process and timing. So glad I was able to tune
That's
in today.
great
Oh,
story.
I love you, Jody.
Jody.
Yes.
Jody. What a lovely name. Isn't that a great name?
It
Hi,
is.
everybody. I just turned on the comments.
You can
Hello,
see
Derek,
everybody
Jenny, Shelley, Selena. Gosh, there's so many. Daniel.
Got a few Irish people watching today. They're happy to see themselves being represented a little bit more today.
Yeah, I'll go through all the comments afterwards too, and see if there's anything that you are asking me. You know, you can ask in the comments, but also you're very good at watching the comments as well as watching the screen, Lara. So if you see someone asking, just say hi, Eliza. Back there.
Scroll back.
Somebody's looking,
I'm sure there was
somebody's looking at something here.
actually.
Hi, Kimberly, Alicia, Sarah, Holly.
A couple people are wondering where in Ireland you are at the moment. Where are you at?
I'm in the north of Ireland, directly in the north of directly in the centre of Northern Ireland. So it's about an hour to the coast every way, or 45 minutes to the coast each way. But if I go down to the coast, it's 6.5 hours. So 6.5 hours down to the bottom coast, the south coast of Ireland.
Drive. I've done it twice.
Yes. But the north coast of Ireland is beautiful. You know, there at the North Sea and the Atlantic Ocean as well. So the Atlantic Ocean goes from the North Sea or the north of Ireland right down the west coast of Ireland, and then you have the wild Atlantic Way. Because the coast of Ireland's like, oh my goodness, it's maybe say 600 miles down, but it's about 6,000 miles or maybe more if you go right around the coast, the whole way around the coast. You know, it would take you days. It would take you weeks.
Well, that's kind of our plan. We were planning on doing that next summer for a ghost busting tour because we're going in less than a month. Actually, I leave a month from today. I'm going to Wales, to England, and then 2 locations in Scotland to do ghost busting, basically to cross over earthbounds and clear out beasties. We're going to go to castles and churches and cemeteries and everywhere that we could possibly go to cross over earthbounds. Battlefields.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
It's fun.
I went into a few places in the past, you know, to do ghost busting, and that was fine. But I wasn't really ready. I wasn't in the place you are now, Lara, and so I did get harmed. After that, it took me a while, and then I started doing it from my own home. So because I can astral project, then I started doing it from my own home, and I still do that. So people will every so often send me photographs of inside their home, outside their home, and I'll, you know, clear the energy up.
We use well, it's more remote viewing. But yes,
remote viewing. Remote viewing.
Projection is when you're asleep. Remote viewing is when you're in meditation.
Yeah, I do astral projection. So I project with my solar plexus away out into, and then my consciousness goes with it.
Right. And you do clearings as well then, but you do it slightly differently. Black Elk does clearings too, but in his own way.
Yeah, well,
Isn't it like energy healing that you do? Yeah, is what I mean.
yes, our energy healing took on so many different changes over the years, and we created quite a few, 7 healing modalities. You'll see them on my website, elizawhitebuffalo.com. So a lot of different healing systems. And then eventually we're doing what we do now, which is when we do healing, it takes no time at all.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much only say the word and it shall be done. So we work on a level of that faith,
Psychic
rather than
surgery type healing. Yeah.
well, we used to do that too, and we still do. So what we do now is for that, we do what's called a consultation with Black Elk. And someone signs up for that, and he and I will travel as a pair into their etheric body, because I can do that. So just go right into their etheric body, and we're tiny, 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 tiny. So, like when the other day, there a couple of days ago, I was standing in somebody's left lung, and it was like a big open, as you do. It was a big wide plane, and you could hardly see the horizon. It was just this big wide plane. Imagine the space inside the lungs, probably one of the biggest spaces in the body.
I'm having magic school bus flashbacks like crazy right now.
The magic roundabout. Or the magic mushrooms.
You ever watched Magic School Bus? It was a teacher that taught like biology, and she would shrink the bus down to the size of like a cell.
Oh, no.
And then she would drive the bus into the body to see how the functions were going. And yeah, it was a fun TV show.
So that's what we do. That's what we do. And so he, it's usually with people that have a long-term illness or something that's come on really sudden, and they can't find answers for it,
Yeah.
They can't find the reasons for it, they can't find the medical answers for it or whatever. So Black Elk usually goes in and finds the answers in whatever level is appropriate for them, and comes back with some advice on that. So, and I enjoy doing that. It's lovely because when he had that great vision as a child, one of the grandfathers of the West gave him a bowl with water in it, and a 4 red herb, a herb of 4 colours, and he was to, as he got older, he was to use this bowl of water and this herb for healing people, for healing his own people, And so he did. He was a medicine man. He became a medicine man, and he used the bowl with the water, and he used the herb, and he used to do that thing where he would kind of go into the person's etheric body, And so now we do it together, and we call it his medicine ceremony, a consultation with Black Elk. So you can either have the consultation, or you can have the medicine ceremony for free. You know, Lara, that I like to give a lot away for free.
You're very generous.
Well, I think it's kind of how I grew up. We would have received, free bags from America. Every so often, this big bag, a black bin bag would come from America full of clothes, for us and stuff. So we would have received a lot when we were children, and my mother and father would have given away a lot as well. And Black Elk, it was a Lakota, and they loved to give away. They called it a giveaway. So Black Elk often would have encouraged me to give away. And now it's like something that nearly almost half of my work is given away for free now.
That's exactly how I do. About 70% of the work I do is also for free through pro bono. There's so much to do right now, and so many people who need help. I don't turn anyone away. If somebody comes to me and says, I'm in a really bad spot and I need help, but I can't afford it, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, come back when you got the money. No, I'm not. I would never do something like that.
Neither do I.
At the same time, my pro bono cases are 4 or 5 months booked out because so many people come to me.
Oh, wow. Well, now I don't do it like that.
I have
I don't book
5
myself
weeks
up.
booked out for paid and 5 months booked out for freebies
Oh,
because it's
that's the way you
easy.
do it. That's the
Yeah.
way you do it. So that's wonderful. No, that's not how I do it. I
I have a
the
very big
work that
team
I
too. I
did
have seven
before.
mediums who are seven
Pardon?
people on my team. I have a very large team helping me keep up, luckily. You are doing it on your own.
Oh,
You
and
got
social media, you do, yes. No,
yes.
I just rely on myself. But I don't. I mean, I'm not working even a quarter as much as I did during the lockdown. Was my busiest time because people were at home. They had time to heal and to make space for themselves and that. So that became my busiest time, and all the workshops and things that I did then came to a wall because you weren't traveling. So after that whole thing was over, around 2022, something like that, instead of going out into the world again, I just decided, you know what, I'm giving all that shit for free. All those workshops and this class and that class and this and that and the other. Just give it for
Paying it
free,
forward.
these healings.
It
This
really helps.
yeah.
It's the ripple
So
effect.
I did that. It brings me great joy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But I also do some paid work, not a lot. I really spread
I
it
was
out.
gonna say, Eliza, you still have to eat. You still have to keep a roof over your head,
Well,
That's
yes,
the
and I'm
problem with
okay. I'm
3D.
okay. The universe has been very good to me and has blessed me that way. I do have my abundance flowing. Um, but also, I just, I really don't want to spend all my days working. So I work 3 days a week. I work, well, I do my social media every day, but I work 3 days a week, and I'll look after a couple of clients each day. So just 6 clients a week now, and it's enough, and I'm happy with it. But if someone sends me an email and they need help, I'll answer that email as soon as I can.
Well, we've noticed that
I
one of the
won't ignore
biggest
it.
areas that you get hit when you're dealing with psychic attacks and extreme grief and all that is financially. That's one of the worst,
Yes,
things that suffer most,
yeah,
ironically, with all the things that humans are
that's
going
right.
through. Because if you're going through grief, if you're really ill, that's the first thing that gets hit is your finances. So
Yeah,
yes, absolutely agree. That's very
you
important.
know, take the platform out from under their feet.
Yeah.
Pull the roots up, and they're left with nothing that can hold them steady at all.
It's by
So
design right now, though. They're really trying to stress people out. If you've noticed, quality of life is going down. Everything is getting more expensive. They don't even want people traveling. They're shutting down airlines left and right. They're making it harder to even get around the world. And I think that's part of the design. I think that's part of the shift that they're trying to make that we are pushing back against.
well, but I don't think we're pushing back against anything. We're not pushing. We're not fighting because when you fight, then there's an energy pull. It's when you just allow love to and the silence to do its thing that everything transmutes. So we're not. I don't see it like that we're pushing against anything, but
It's more
it's
like,
probably
oh, you can say it in any way you
it's
want.
probably
You
a
can say
different
more
words that you
light.
might
You
use.
can say setting
Yeah.
a stronger boundary, however you want to put it.
I
We're
don't care
definitely
about all those things that's happening in the world, with the finance and all that. I mean, I do care about people, of course I care, but I don't stress about it. I don't let it be my priority. I don't let it be my identification of the world. I don't allow it to be my view of the world because the world is bright and the light is dazzling in there in every corner. And that's why these things have fallen apart, really. It's the same old, saying you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. And you can't construct a beautiful, light constructed world unless the old world is deconstructed because one world um, is constructed over the top of the other one. It's like layers. So our mind must let go of the old constructs. We must let go of that. And even if you think in terms of human biology, and if you think in terms of your neurons and your mind and your consciousness itself, you know, you cannot create new constructs in your mind, and therefore you're allowing your nervous system to recreate those in the world. Unless you let go of the older constructs, the I am not good enough, that the world is shite, all of that kind of thing, because the world's beautiful. The world is beautiful. It's people that are shite.
Anything's changing. It's just people needed some motivation to change.
It's the lizards.
All the motivation you needed.
Yeah, it's those that are in control of the world, but we're not going to go there, of course, because that's a day and a half. It's but they'll all crash. They will. They'll all crash.
No doubt whatsoever.
Yeah. 10 years ago, you would never have even. 20 years ago, you would never have even considered that you could go up against black magic and have to do nothing at all just to show your heart to it, and it goes woo away.
Love is more powerful than people realize. I found a gentleman. We were doing a lost soul rescue. Somebody booked a lost soul rescue for a gentleman who had been murdered. It was a very sad case, but it was a very public case. I don't want to say his name, but it was a big deal. And they even started a foundation in his name, and which is very beautiful of the family.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody from the community wanted to make sure that he was okay. So we tuned in, and he was already crossed over. And I thought, well, that's rare that somebody who was murdered was already crossed over.
Maybe he had other people rooting for him on earth.
Well, you know what's interesting? Do you know what did it? The gentleman was actually in a death loop, because sometimes when you get killed in a very traumatic way, you end up in that shock and that awe, and that keeps you in the loop. Do you know what pulled him out of the loop?
What?
Hopes and prayers.
Yes, of course.
People sending their thoughts and prayers. People actually praying.
Yeah.
The whole community came together to pray, and that got the attention of the angelics, and it also got his attention. It was the love.
Yeah.
The community was.
I love that you're saying that, because that's something that Black Elk told me a long time ago. And I mean, I couldn't understand it completely at the time, but he would talk about there being all the different sort of levels of dimensions of the afterlife, and the grey worlds were the death loop. He didn't call it a death loop. He'd say that they're trapped in a loop, and it's repeating the death over and over and over and over, and it's like hell.
Yes.
You repeat that, you're stuck in that experience over and over and over and over.
Black magic, one of the most impactful clearings I did about a year ago, and if I told you about this, we crossed over everybody at Culloden. And there was a lot of black magic.
What year was that?
This was a year ago, almost 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I was there about 3 years ago, and I was working with the same energy. I was in Culloden. Yeah, there was, and there was an awful lot of stuff there, and I did some work on it. And then it was the year the Queen died. It was the year the Queen Elizabeth II died. She was doing so much
black magic. Hey, she was very powerful. People do not know about the Queen of England and how she was buried with her wand. If you guys saw the ceremony they did, they showed the wand publicly sitting on her casket. She was very much a practitioner.
Really? Really?
Yes, absolutely. They even broke the wand and put it in her casket with her.
Goodness, I didn't see that.
They did that publicly. That's very symbolic.
So Black Elk, he was talking about this loop, and he said exactly what you'd said it is. He said that how they get out of that loop is when people are praying for them.
Now,
when people are praying for them and sending healing and thinking of them with light,
it pulled his attention from the loop.
Yeah. They see, they're in this dark, dark world, and they see that light, and it pulls them, and they're drawn towards it, and that pulls them out of it. But Lara, let's bring everything down to our own consciousness, because at the end of the day, it's all coming from here. All time, all space, everything's all coming from your consciousness.
Yeah.
So those loops, those negative loops, are negative loops that we're on. And I remember the only time that I did ayahuasca, which was about maybe 10 years ago, and I experienced being on the loop, and I saw it for what it was. This loop that I was going round and round and round and round, and never even trying to step off. And it wasn't until I saw on one of those loops around, I saw a light, and I held on to it and came out, because I knew what Black Elk had said. So that's what got me off that loop. But whenever I talk about, letting go of your old constructs, that your old thoughts that build the constructs of your world as it is now, the world that never changes, um, and reconstructing a new world, that's saying the same thing. That loop, that negative loop that you're on, is the nervous system reconstructing and reconstructing and reconstructing the same old world again and again and again in every moment.
It's like a skipping record.
Yeah.
It's a glitch. In fact, I asked
the guy. It takes a new thought. It takes the light of a new thought, the light of a new affirmation, the light of a prayer, the light of a friend, the light of whatever.
Yep.
It takes light to
I asked, I was like, the popes and the prayers actually pulled him out of the death loop. They said, yes, all the prayers pulled him out.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how did he get crossed over? And they said an angelic went and got him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, because he was such a sweet guy. We tuned into his energy last night, and I was just blown away by, how he had no animosity, no resentment towards the person who did it, just pure love. And when you can have something so horrible happen to you and you're just like, it's okay, I love you.
Yeah.
What a pure soul he was.
Yeah, that a lot of people ask me that about myself, because the what I've lived through is unforgivable, but I've forgiven. I could never not forgive, because from when I was a little child, it's all I knew. Love, inside me, forgiveness. Black Elk taught me, I guess, at that time, whatever. But all I ever remember is never wanting to hate anything, always wanting to forgive, always wanting to move on. And it's held fast to me. It's transformed my life, because here I am, I'm happy, I'm at peace, and I'm abundant.
Beautifully said.
So, yeah, it really does work. There's a lot of people now that are just really stepping into the fifth dimension. And at the end of the day, if you ask if you are or not, listen, you're on a podcast here with Laura and myself. You're in the fifth dimension. Of course you are. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to see you, or you wouldn't be able to see us. But so you're here, and a lot of people have only just arrived here, and they're looking for a new way of healing, because I wrote a post about this recently, because that idea of healing is becomes so old hat in the fifth dimension. It becomes something that you don't want to use any longer, because the very concept of it is that there was something wrong and it can be made better. Yeah. Whereas in the fifth dimension, nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Everything is positive. Everything is flowing. And we know just to flow with that. There is no other need in the fifth dimension. There is no need. There's no need for healing. There's no need for this, that, the other. All there is to choose to flow. Choose flow. And it's not an option not to choose flow, because the flow is how we come here. And we're so full of trust and so full of awareness of that. And so, if I'm not saying to all you guys now that are listening to me, really, really listen to yourselves, and really, really introspect and ask yourself that question: do I really believe that I need to be healed? Or am I okay exactly as I am now, and all I really should do is just flow? Because I know that's what you're going to choose. You would not be here if that's not what you would choose. And so I think that's what we need to talk about, guys. When you're talking to anyone, when you're talking to your friends, really talk about the fact that salvation is already here. Salvation has already come from within us, and the world is changing. That's why the world is changing. It's because we've already reached that point of no return. The darkness is dying.
Oh yeah, it is.
Now it will always be there because it will always match the light. As long as there's a duality, there will be darkness, just as much as there will be light. But the difference between this duality, the fifth dimension, and the duality of the third and fourth dimension is we don't have to try to overcome the dark. We just do, because we are love, because we are the silence. And our greatest tool is not rising up in arms against the dark, because that's a fight that nobody wins.
My guide said that when you, it's like a dance instead of a fight. We're trying
exactly.
That it's more like a dance.
The fight conjures up the idea that there's going to be two losers. And there will always be two losers in a fight. So nobody ever comes out on top.
Source is both. Technically, source is the beasties too. That's why we send them back to source.
It's just about simply being source, yes.
Jody had a question.
Simply allowing yourself to be light and love.
Jody is getting into shamanism. Aside from your books, do you recommend any other authors or any people that might be good to learn from?
It's hard for me to say, because Black Elk, all along throughout my reteaching of shamanism, like whenever I turned 36 and I had that near-death experience, he practically had to start at the beginning with me again. So he wouldn't allow me to follow any shamans. He wouldn't allow me to follow anybody, just himself, just the own voice in my head. But he did allow me to read a book called The Shaman's Way by Michael Schumacher. Not sure.
Shaman's Way?
The Shaman's Way by Michael. Google The Shaman's Way by Michael. You'll get it. I can't remember his surname. And yes, I really resonated with it. I mean, I can't advise anybody to read something that I don't resonate with. So, but you might read a book, Jody, that really resonates with you, and it may not resonate with me. And that's the beauty of our uniqueness, you see. Because we're all here, I mean, even if you take the world of shamans, every single shaman that's on earth now practicing is here for a different reason. We're all vibing with a different frequency, a different harmony, a different orchestra. The instruments may be similar, but the exact overture is unique to everybody. So find your way. The Way of the Shaman by Michael is one of the very first books written on shamanism. Black Elk Speaks is another. It's a good one. It's definitely a good one, because it has the vision. And of course, my book's The Two Roads. How could I not say that? My own book's The Two Roads. Because the first book, The Two Roads, which is what Black Elk saw in his vision, he saw two roads crossing over each other in a circle, which is, I think, which is the pendant that I've on. That I call it the Two Roads symbol.
I'm wearing the pendant I got. What is this called again? I forget.
I call it the Two Roads symbol.
You got the Two Roads one on today.
It looks like the medicine wheel. It looks like the Coptic cross. It's beautiful. It's a symbol that's as old as life itself, really. But I call it the Two Roads symbol, with the red stone of power in the center, and that's all part of our stories. But the Two Roads will open your heart. And if you really think that you've got healing to do, you read that book, you won't have feeling to do by the end of it. you will have got rid of it all. The next book, The Fourth Sense, it talks about the vision, in a very sort of easy way to understand, Jodie, in a shamanic way as well, because it's a very shamanic vision. And it helps the reader, it helps the shaman to understand the basic fundamentals of shamanism as well. And it will open your mind. It will completely open your mind to the fifth dimension. The third book will bring you right back to your innocence. Totally right back to your innocence. And it'll give you so much of a basis of compassion for yourself, understanding for the world, forgiveness, and it talks about all that type of stuff. And the fourth book will just really, it'll help you to not only open your third eye, but to really feel confident in using it. To find ways of using it, to trust in it, to trust in your guidance, and trust in all the clairs that you have, all the clear sense that you have. So that's my 4 books. And the fourth book talks about the vision in a way, and it talks about shamanism in a way that I haven't read it anywhere else. I haven't read it anywhere else. I have found a man recently on TikTok. He's Chinese man. I think he's Chinese. He's from the East anyway. And he is blowing my mind. He is coming out with wisdom and knowledge that is, to me, that's like, I agree with what he says, and I resonate with what he says, and I know that in my own way, but it's given a perspective that I am absolutely loving. Oh my goodness, and I can't remember his name. I think he's on TikTok as...
Oh, you're very sweet to promote other people.
Sophia something. Look me up on TikTok and ask me for his name, and I'll link you to him.
You're very sweet, Eliza. Thank you.
Oh, look me up on TikTok, please. I'm trying to get to 10,000. I started in February, and I'm almost at 5,000 now. So
are you under there?
The next 5 will go quick.
White Buffalo. I deleted
Eliza White Buffalo,
but I will look into it. Yeah.
A lot of people advise me not. I'm sorry, Jodie. Is that a good enough answer to your question?
Yeah, that was a very, honestly, you went above and beyond. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. A lot of people don't like TikTok, and believe me, it is absolutely full of scammers. It's ridiculous. I mean, I get about 50 follows a day, and I would say about 25 of them are single men with boats and surgeons, and they've got this wee doggy and this wee child, and they're such beautiful men, and they're such a great catch, you know.
Gift to scammers, they love AI.
Yeah. And you'll have a great time with them until you start to give all your money to them. They break your heart. Bless. But no, I just allow them to be there, and I don't give them any attention, and they soon go away, you know. But I think TikTok's great. It's so free, and people are so free in their expression on TikTok. I mean, there's people on TikTok that are doing all sorts of things that are, like just completely mad, you know.
I think I'm just too old for TikTok, maybe.
Well, as a 60-year-old, I look at some of the things that the youngsters are doing.
Yeah, it's the world I'm used to, I guess.
Yeah, but it's fun, you know. I'm great with fun, and I love seeing the way that they're expressing themselves, you know. And these people now that, have you heard the term the chosen? Have you heard that term yet?
Yes.
It's major on TikTok. They're full of them. They're all young people, and they've watched this set of documentaries, some kind of a thing called The Chosen, or something about Jesus anyway, on one of the big streaming services on the TV. So, and and they're called the chosen. All these people are called the chosen by Jesus, chosen. So the idea is that when you have a spiritual awakening, you're chosen by Jesus. You know, which is lovely. It's lovely, so it is, but it's not for me. I don't like that kind of language, but because I think that kind of language breeds the ego. I think the ego loves that stuff. You know, I'm chosen, I'm special, you know. Yeah, you're special. Every single one of us are special.
I don't do the video reels. I have my friend Ella doing those, so I don't know what's going up on my TikTok.
Yeah, so well, I'm on it every day. I'm on it every. I'd say I give TikTok a good hour at it every day. You know?
Well, we just shared your TikTok, so maybe that will help get more followers for you. Thank you, Cherise, for looking that up for her.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get to 10,000 because I tell you what Black Elk's planning, or at least I think he's planning. You know, God, they say God laughs at those that make plans. This is what I think the spirit of Black Elk and I are going towards. When you get to 10,000 follows on TikTok, I think you get to go, no, not live. I think you get to do like these groups in the DMs. You see, I know that word, DMs. Not bad for a 60-year-old.
Oh, not bad at all.
So you get to do these groups, and that every time you put up a post in that group, everybody in that group is notified.
There you go.
I think Black Elk is trying to gather together this group, like yourself there, Lara, with all your followers, and they listen to you every week with your podcast, you know. So something like that, and then they get this post and they'll come if they choose to, and they can read the post, and I don't need to go and say, hi, you know, this post is up or whatever. So get me to 10,000 so we can do that, because I think he wants to. I think he wants to really get through some really beautiful messages. And, you know, it scares me a little bit. It scares my ego a little bit because, you know, I think, oh, well, I hope I step up to it. You know I'll step up to it. I will step up to it. I always step up to it, you know. And if I don't step up to it, and you know, the ego is a little bit of fun with me, sure, it's just a bit of fun.
It's all in good fun.
Have a laugh.
That's the whole point. We got to enjoy what we're doing here.
Yeah.